I sat in the tree outside my cabin, started reading this book I picked up at a garage sale in town. It was called The Lord of the Rings. And, while reading it was supposed to be a break from all that thinking about the comedy hell world, but it actually ended up illuminating the pathway to the truth about how comedy got so shit. So, in this story, these ancient elf guys created magic orbs called the Palantiri. These orbs allowed guys to see and communicate across vast distances with other guys who had an orb. The orbs were meant to help gain and share knowledge and make society work better, but you had to be very smart and strong-willed to use this technology. And just like in our world, most people are just really stupid. It's just the way it is. These orbs weren't inherently evil, they didn't necessarily lie, but they could show a selectively narrow version of reality. And if you had a double-digit IQ and tried to use one, you'd end up confused, misled, and completely dominated. And that's when I realized the guy who wrote this thing must be some sort of genius, because he perfectly predicted the internet and how it was going to break everybody's brain. And in the book, the bad guy is this guy called the Dark Lord. Well, the Dark Lord got a hold of one of those Palantir orbs, and he used it to dominate and reshape the minds of a bunch of influential guys who happened to have orbs too, like the boss of all the wizards, and this guy Denethor, the ruler of some kingdom castle or whatever. Using the orbs, the Dark Lord led both these guys to fully believe the apocalypse was upon them, and that there was nothing they could do to change it. He figured if these influential guys could be convinced the end times were upon them, there would be a trickle-down effect, where everyone would believe it, feel completely helpless, and just kind of give up and let the Dark Lord take over. The wizard boss guy reacted by joining the Dark Lord in his quest for domination, because if that Dark Lord is bound to win the war, he might as well be on the right side at the end of it. It's a philosophical suey. And poor old Denethor turned to utter despair and decided to just let Sauron get on with it, let his kingdom be dominated by the Dark Lord before doing a proper full suey himself. Oh yeah, there was this other king who didn't have a magic orb, so Saruman sent this guy, Wormtongue, nasty guy, to just go whisper in his ear, and it had the same effect. The point is, these guys essentially all got put inside a hyper-real simulacrum by the Dark Lord using that orb technology. The visions presented to them in the orb became their new reality, and because they were so weak and stupid, losers really, they were convinced there was no way forward except to embrace the apocalypse by joining that Dark Lord, or by going full suey. Why the f am I talking about this stupid book bullshit? Because the internet is our magic orb. But unlike this book, in our world everybody has one. In the book, the Dark Lord loses the war because the humans got a new king who still lived in classic reality. But imagine if every guy in this ring story had an orb, and not just a couple of the leader guys. Even this new king wouldn't be able to convince enough people to defend the castle. The Dark Lord would have won for sure. Anyway, it's a good book. Check it out if you know how to read. Because that's kind of exactly what this doomsday cult we're talking about did. They created and then gifted to us our Palantiri, the internet, social media, podcasts. They used their techno-wizardry to seize control of human behavior and thought, creating their Palantiri to be both completely addictive and to devolve all human interaction into complete negativity. Once that happens, our "I gotta get the hell out of here" gene activates, and when there's nowhere else to go, the cult offers escape pods into their simulacrum, which really are psychic apocalypse bunkers. The cult's goal is to destroy what they call the cathedral, which encompasses all the elements of our society that influence our thoughts and beliefs about the world. Everything from public education and universities to cultural industries, the media, and of course the new mainstream media like podcasts. Once all these institutions are destroyed, the cult can assume control of all of them, and then they can dictate public opinion and the direction our society should go, which for them is an authoritarian monarchy run by an autocratic CEO king. They call this the Dark Enlightenment. People have been talking about this already, but for some reason nobody has ever pointed out that comedy is also part of the cathedral. Because comedy is a tool that can cut through the illusion of hyperreality, one that can topple the pillars that uphold a simulacrum. They must destroy it. They've been doing this for as long as comedy has been a thing. And the cult identified their perfect target to infiltrate both the comedy and podcast world, the most gullible man in mainstream media. It was so easy. They just led Joe down the path into the simulacrum with money and validation, and now he's their mainstream media puppet. And comedy is fucking crumbling, taken over by the cult. You think this is crazy? Who are the guys at the top of this cult? It's J.D. Vance.
We're letting a grown man walk around in a miniskirt in broad daylight?
It's the techno-wizard billionaire. It's Elon, Mark Andreessen.
Sure, these things are being censored.
It's fucking Peter Thiel.
Talk about what's gone wrong in the U.S. because
They're all friends of the show. Weird, eh?
everything's so much worse. You know.
Hello? They use comedy and podcasting as a fun Trojan horse to sneak themselves into the culture. And Joe and all his enablers let it all happen. Just sold out the entire comedy world. All while he preaches about the importance of comedy and how much it means to him.
It was a religious calling.
It's all a ruse, a great big scheme, a spectacle, comedy kayfabe.
250 comics.
In the cult's hyper-reality, he's the head of comedy. But in classic reality, he's the gangrenous toe of the comedy world, slowly spreading its vile infection throughout the rest of its body. It's messed up, man, but that's how comedy got so shit. I mean, I